Hey everyone, in this video, I'm going to discuss about the Pandas basic checks. So in the previous video, we have learned about how to load dataset into a Google Colab, right, using Pandas. So now the question is, once you load data, like how do you understand the data? You have to perform certain basic checks to understand the structure of your data. That's where basic checks plays a very important role. So I have already uploaded a sales data into my Google Colab and I have imported Pandas and also loaded data. Okay, so once you are done with loading data, very first important thing that you have to do is you need to know like how many rows and how many columns you have it in your data frame. So that's where we have a concept called as a shape. Shape is used in order to find the number of rows and a columns. Very simple. Just call your data frame name, which is data.shape. This is going to give you how many rows and how many columns you have in your data. It clearly says that there are 9,994 rows and 22 columns. Okay. Next important function is head. What if you want to display only the first 5 rows of a data frame? Or what if you want to display the first 10 rows of a data frame? So we just use a head. Okay, very simple. Just call your data.head. When you call data.head, by default, it is going to give you the first 5 rows. Okay, by default, it just gives you first 5 rows. But what if you want specific rows? Let's say, for example, you want to fetch first 2 rows or first 100 rows. In that case, use data.head and you have to mention how many rows you are looking for. I want 2 rows. Okay, data.head of 2. So similarly, just opposite to a head, we have a concept called as a tail. Tail is used to display the last rows. By default, if you just use data.tail, it gives you last 5 rows. Okay, it's like when you have so many rows, instead of looking into all the data, it's always sufficient if you look into specific rows, right? That's where this head and tail is useful. Let's say you want only a specific rows from last, fetch 3 rows from last. So very simple, you just need to call data dot and just say tail of 3. Done. See? I hope this is clear. This is all about our head and tail. Next important thing is our info. Info is used in order to get the concise summary of your data frame, including how many rows are there, how many columns are there, data types, and also how many non-null counts are there, and also memory usage. Very simple, just call your data and write data.info. It just gives you a complete report like what are the columns you have, and also it tells you how many non-null rows are there, okay, non-empty values, and it also gives you data type and also gives you memory usage. Okay, this is how info is useful. Next important thing, what if you want to return the data type of each column? You can just use dtypes. Okay, you can just call your data.dtypes. So data.dtypes gives you list of all the columns and corresponding data type. One interesting thing about a pandas is, so from now onwards, all the columns which has integer values will be represented as integer 64. That's a memory, 64 bytes, and text data will be represented as an object, and also anything decimals will be represented as a float 64. Okay, this is all about our data type. Next important thing is, what if you want to print all the columns? So how do you print all the columns? Very simple. If you want to see all the columns, just use data.columns. It will display all the columns available in your data. You can clearly see, right? Great. So next important thing, what if you want to print a specific numerical column which includes just number kind of data, and what if you want to fetch columns which includes the text kind of data? First, let me show you how to fetch numerical columns or a columns which includes numerical data. Then I'll show you how to fetch categorical columns. Categorical columns in a sense, columns which includes a text kind of data. So very simple, you just need to call your data dot select underscore d types. You just need to mention include is equal to. So we are looking for numerical data. Now numerical data means you have to mention integer 64 and also you have to mention a float 64. Integer 64 and also float 64. This is going to give you the columns which includes only the numerical data. Can you see? It is giving you just numerical data. So I'll just call it like numerical columns is equal to, And I can print the same thing as well. Yes. So we use select underscore data, which just gives you all the columns which includes just our numerical data. So same way how do you print the columns which includes the text kind of data? I'll just call it like categorical columns is equal to. So data dot select underscore data, you have to use the same code and you just need to use include. Include what? So include equals, you just need to mention object. Okay, so if you include an object, because object represents a text kind of data, and if you print a categorical column, it is going to print you the columns which includes the text kind of data. You know, according to this data, we can clearly understand that data is also considered as a text. So keep in mind. Okay, so this is all about printing columns. The next important thing is describe. Let's say what if you want to find the statistical report related to your data, you can just use a describe, just called data.describe. Yeah, data.describe gives you all the statistical report. You can also perform a transpose. You can swap rows and columns for a better visibility. Yeah. So what does data.describe will do? It just gives you count, average value, standard deviation, minimum value, 25th percentile, that is 25th value in your data, 50th percentile, 75th percentile, and also it gives you maximum value. Okay, so this basically helps you in understanding statistical report related to your data set. Always look for a standard deviation. If any of the column standard deviation is a zero, if any of the numerical column standard deviation is zero, that means that column is a constant column. Okay, so you have to drop such column. Always remember, if if standard deviation is equal to zero, we call them like a constant columns that needs to be dropped. They need to drop. Okay. And second thing, always look for the minimum value. What if in case minimum sales is just a zero? A sales cannot be zero, right? Discount can be zero, but quantity cannot be zero, profit cannot be zero. So you have to be little careful about standard deviation and also the minimum value. So same way, what if you want to find the statistical report for your categorical data? You have to use data.describe and you just need to mention include is equal to object. Okay, just say include is equal to object. It gives you statistical report related to your numerical, not sorry, categorical column. So you can clearly see the count gives you the number of values in that column. Unique gives you the unique values. Let's see, for example, if you take a region, according to our data, we have a four different regions. Okay, so that is a unique. I'll just explain this concept with an example, just to understand. So it's pretty much simple. Yep. So, yes. Let's say, for example, you have a region column. I'll just write it here. In a region, you have a different values. Okay, like let's say west, you have an east, then you have a west, then you have an east, then you have a west, then you have a north. Okay, first very important thing. What would be the count? You can count how many values are there. So what when I say count, what it will do, it will count the number of rows. So clearly there are six rows. Then unique values. So how many unique values you have? West is one, east and also north. So there are three unique values. And then top in the sense, which is the most frequently occurring one. So clearly we can see west is the most frequently occurring one, right? So it's repeated three times. So clearly the top one is a west. And also frequency, how many times that most frequently occurring value has occurred repeated, so it's three times. This is how the statistical report for categorical columns will come. It will count, find unique values, distinct values, and it will find the most frequently occurring value and what is the count of that most frequently occurring value. So this is how the statistical report is going to work. I hope this is clear. This is all about, the basic checks that you have to perform whenever you take a data. By this, you'll understand the structure of a data. I hope this is clear. Thank you. Happy learning.